Okay, this is my second attempt at this.
Pete. And then we... Guys.
So now it is early in the morning. It's still a little overcast and I'm a little tired and my hair is wild. So I'm wearing a hat. Stop it, would you stop it? Okay, part 2 of our Upper Peninsula trip, which I'm gonna correct myself. I was referring to it as the Upper. Upper isn't a place, it's a person. Upper Peninsula is the place. So I apologize to all of those who are Uppers for using it incorrectly. I hope now I'm using it properly. So where we left off, we went to sleep. So during that night, we woke up the next morning and Turner was already fiddling with the fire, trying to get something going so he could roast some wieners, but he seemed a little upset.
My battery's dead, but we're up.
And that's because over the night, he had accidentally lit Joe and I's clothes on fire. Just so everybody knows, that's Joe in the red in the blanket. And then this is Turner, who is fire starting and got a little fire happy last night because the only shoes Joe did have were now these heelless. He just didn't want the heels on them anymore.
Yeah, I never strapped them in anyway.
And they got a little charred. And then my socks got charred with some holes in them too. But luckily I packed 2 pair. Some holes. How'd you do last night? He had some hot dogs though, probably his highlight. That morning, Joe wanted us to go to the opposite end, like the far end of the island, to do some cliff jumping. He said there's a spot near this graffitied Mike Wazowski, who is that little eyeball from Monsters Inc., and you could jump off around that area. Luckily, it only really took not even 5 minutes to get to the opposite end of the island. It's a really small place. And when we got over there, we, scoped out the spot. We found Mike, and he wasn't green, he was blue. So I just assumed that was the color of the spray paint they had. And the guy was like, well, all I can spray paint is that little Monsters Inc. guy.
Yeah, it wasn't an artistic choice.
And Joe and I decided we'd jump off at the same time to get a cool shot while Turner flew the drone, because he definitely didn't want to get in the water.
Filming you.
How high?
You're probably about 30 and 25. All right, don't lose your GoPro. Hang on, I'm gonna get a really good grip on this. It's cold.
3.
Wait, where are you going?
I'm going right toward the dark. 3, 2, 1.
Sweet mother God!
Joe picked the harder side to climb out on,
I went the long way. Kind of dumb.
while I picked the easier, traverse side where Mike was spray painted. So we jumped around for a bit, and then we couldn't spend too much time there because Joe had plans for us to go do some more stuff. So we just jumped, and then Joe finally, he did the big one. We're gonna dry off and now probably go pack up and get off this island.
I live here now.
I did the big jump, and I wasn't scared. I was just playing with you guys.
So we headed back to camp.
On our way back to camp.
And it didn't take us long to break everything down, and we kind of fashioned together a little strap behind Joe's sandals with some paracord so he can at least wear his sandals out of the place. So we're packed up and we're about to head out. Got a couple bags left that need to be snagged. We got some fancy new shoes here for Joe to get across. These are very chic.
Compliments
Modern.
on the fire.
Mine even got a little toasty. All right, to the kayaks. When we went to where we hid our kayaks, we were glad to see that the water was now calm. So the plan this time is I take a kayak because there's no waves now. It's pretty calm. Turner's gonna take a kayak with a bag. I'm gonna take a kayak with a bag. Rocky's gonna swim it, and Joe is gonna swim it. And we're gonna get back. So we put our bags in the kayaks, and headed to shore. It's gonna be a lot easier this time. Made it. It didn't really take long. We got across pretty quickly. Turner even actually like rode a wave in without capsizing and getting soaked, even though it was really close.
He'll catch one, there it goes.
And then those guys took off to the truck while I struggled to get all my stuff on me to hike out. I actually took so long, Rocky came back for me, and then I finally took off. We got back to the truck and we went back to Joe's aunt's place, Aunt Patty, and Archer was happy to see us. Archer had stayed the night in the van. You know, he couldn't have come with us to the island. Aunt Patty made sure he was good and would check in on him. But yeah, we got back, he was excited to see us, and we had like an hour to go get some lunch. We're going to eat now.
We're at Donkers. It's a staple here in Marquette.
They named the tables. We're in the Willy Wonka room, and we're at the Baruch Assault table.
We immediately went back to Aunt Patty's because Joe had plans for us to go kayaking again.
It's non-stop.
We got a little bit of lunch and coffee, cold brew.
Got a little cold brew.
And,
a little cold brew on me.
a little pep in the step, and now we're on our way out to go kayaking. Where are we going? Train River.
Joe got a little chocolate turtles at the fudge shop too.
He's gonna fall asleep.
We met up with his cousin Michael and his wife Julie, and they had their own cool, like, inflatable kayaks. We're out kayaking again at the IU train. IU train? IU train? Ah train. Look, there's houses right up the water. And we got Rocky on it again with me, so we'll see how this time goes. By this point, Rocky and I have gone kayaking so many times, I kind of know how to work with him on it.
He's got a life preserver because he is not very buoyant.
He does not want to sit still on a kayak, but he never wants to sit still really anywhere. I mean, occasionally he'll settle down, but when we're doing things, he just can't. And so on a kayak, it's hard, there's not a lot of space. He starts out by putting his front paws on the nose, and then he gradually works his way until he's fully standing on the nose, which makes it really difficult to steer the thing.
Oh, come on, Turner!
I'm trying.
Turner! He'll hang on for a good amount of time. His balance is pretty good, and eventually, you know, either he'll slip and fall in or he'll just jump into the water. And he'll swim for maybe like 10 minutes and then get tired and then come back to the kayak like, pick me up. So then I have to pull him by his life vest and while trying not to tip over, so I'm putting all my weight on one side, get him in, and he immediately shakes off, soaking me in the process. And then that's how we kayak. I've played with the idea of getting like a really durable floaty that he wouldn't be able to pop and just pulling him behind a kayak to see what would happen, but I have a feeling he wouldn't like it and he'd want to be on the front.
Uh-oh, no rock.
How's this adventure craft treating you?
This is very mellow compared to what we've been doing. It's nice, it is very nice. And we kayaked for like a mile and a half, and came across this little rope swing.
Do a flip? I missed it. Do it again. Whoa!
While we were there, Turner, nature called again, and he went out, found his leaves, and took care of business.
All right, so I took shit number 3 in the Upper. Shit number 3 in the Upper. First it was the mainland before the island, and then one on the island, and then one over here at the rope. So that's 3 shits in the woods in the Upper. Still haven't seen a bear. Don't know if they shit in the woods, but I sure do.
Well, what's the wiping material like?
So, you know, they got some wide leaves, some very nice wiping material. It's got some soft bristles on the underside. You use the underside, fold it over, use it again. That's all good and dandy. They got great leaves, not a lot of poison ivy. You don't got to be too worried about that. But what's really beautiful about it is you can use the bodies of water as a bidet system. That really, that works really well. And then you can like feed the fish that way and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
All right, eh?
Hey.
All right, you're getting into this Upper life, eh?
And his outfit during that time was great. I mean, it was an American flag, like short shorts.
I go.
Right up my butthole.
We swam around for a bit.
Here he goes. Nice.
Rocky ate some wieners with Turner. And I think he even thought he had found some type of creature in the water. He got really cautious in this one spot. I'm gonna go look again.
Make sure it's not right now.
What is that, rock? Scary.
But I'm pretty sure it was just like a log or a stick that moved. But we checked it just to see. And then we continued to kayak. Oh, Train River. Rocky's the guy. And at a certain point, I lost everybody. I lost the whole group. We've kind of lost everybody. We went a little ahead. And now I don't hear them anymore. I lost them, which was pretty difficult because Turner was talking the entire time. All he was talking about was stocks and like corrupt corporations and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So it was nice to get a little break from that. But eventually, Rocky and I pulled off and waited for him. Rocky and I pulled off to hopefully find him. I think I hear him. And then we finished the rest of the trip together.
Coca-Cola Dasani water. That's all you can get at the store. No, bring that fucking camera over here.
Do we get out here? The trip took us a couple hours, and it was fun. And since we kayaked in the morning and the evening and did the cliff jumping stuff, like we were pretty tired by the end of the day, and so we decided to head back to camp and get some sleep.
Been a long 36 hours. Pooped in the woods twice. Finally made it back to the bass pond.
Where there's no service.
There's no service.
And no light.
No light.
Good night. And then the next day was our last day in the Upper Peninsula. So immediately, you know, Joe wanted to get going. So we're on our way back into Marquette, and it's gonna be another day of non-stop stuff. And by that point, Turner and I were both like feeling a little guilty that we hadn't been getting any work done because the cabin didn't have any service. We're trying to work because we're not stopping anywhere on the road, and it's like the service comes in and out. So right now I'm trying to send a PDF and it's not going, but we're trying. Rocky's got bad gas. You got a leaf on your butt. And then before we knew it, we were at Sugarloaf.
Well, you can start either way, but if you don't mind rocks, this is the quickest way.
And Sugarloaf is a short little hike. You kind of climb a decent amount of elevation in a short amount of time, but we started to head up, and I was a little worried because I wasn't seeing any other dogs. I was like, are dogs allowed here? Oh yeah, and speaking of dogs, Rocky, every time we go on a hike, or a run, or anything that seems to excite him, he goes like 100 feet and poops. And it's like, dang it. Now I have to pick this up, put it in a bag, and either carry it or find a spot to hide it so that I can come back and snag it. It's easier just to find a spot to like tuck the bag rather than like carrying it around or running with it. We kept going up, and then we reached the top, and it was actually a pretty good view. And because it was a good view, Joe wanted to get some aerials. And while he was doing that, there was this kid who was like, "Mom, it sounds like a swarm of bees up here." And I was like, I just acted like I didn't know what was going on and like hid my face.
Get one more poop in out here. Get those abs coming out.
We got our little aerial shots, and then we headed back down because we were supposed to get to town to meet up with more of Joe's family to do another hike. Poop bag. Oh yeah, this is the moment. And dispose of your pet poop within a thing that's for dog poop. But this hike, we were going to a place called Rum Runner's Cove, right? Rum Runner's Cove. And because we had been doing so many hikes and we were like filming our perspectives of it all, I was like, let's try to put a camera on Rocky.
That's so funny.
Keeping a camera attached to him and facing forward is really difficult. But we figured we'd give it a shot because Aunt Patty was bringing her dog, Abby. And so I thought, oh, it might be fun. He'd have a pal to run down the trails with.
Hi.
Stop. So the hike over was actually really nice. You stay along the waterfront the whole time. And it's these tall covered trees, so you stay in the shade. And then as we were getting closer, Rocky kind of like took off because he had seen a dog already down in the cove where we were going. And he got down there, and then I hear Archer, and I was like, oh, that's wild. This dog's name's Archer. And I'm like, my cat's name's Archer. And then I hear,
You have a YouTube channel.
I do.
I watch it.
Do you really?
I do. We watch it together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Liza and Elliot and Archibald. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they live in the area, and we're down there already slacklining and swimming and stuff like that. And so Rocky went over and visited, and I ran up and checked out the cliff jumping areas.
Oh, sorry. Hi, puppy.
And the water there was super clear again, and so you could see that there was a clearing, and people were already jumping off the cliffs by the time we got up there. Joe wanted to jump in first, and so I filmed him from his phone, and right when he went in, Rocky like got into a panic, like, oh no, he's dead. Joe was coming around to climb back up, and Rocky like skittered down the side of this rock face and just jumped into the water, not realizing he didn't have his life jacket on, and his camera stopped rolling when that happened. He jumps in and immediately like sinks. He's like a lead weight, and I don't know if it's because he's a lot of muscle, but he just he sinks, and then he pops out and his eyes are like, oh. Instead of him saving Joe, like I think he was hoping Joe had to save him, and then he had to like climb his way back up this rock face, and everyone was like, oh. But he got up, and we jumped off the rocks a bit, and then I went over to Liza and Elliot's slack line, and I was like, can I give this a go? And I've only really stood on a slack line at a climbing gym. I don't really have any experience with it, and I don't think they had much confidence in me doing really well. I didn't have much confidence in me doing well.
Think he's gonna do good, Liza?
Nope.
Oh wow, that's a lot better than that.
And I think I only made it like 2 steps and fell in. That was the best I did. I tried it a few other times, but I didn't make it very far. But it was still fun.
You fall, then you like try to get as many steps in.
Rocky hung out with Archer, which is weird to say.
Oh, new friend. It's a new Archer.
No, buddy, no, stay.
And we did that for a bit, and then Joe's family started to leave, so Turner and I were like, we should probably head out. I tried. Maybe one day I should get my own and then practice, and then come back and be like,
Yeah, show me.
yeah. So we got our stuff and started to head back. Huh?
Enjoy your time in Marquette.
Oh, thank you. I do want to thank Elliot and Liza for letting me fart around on your slack line, and hopefully I can practice and get better at it. You gonna make it? While we were hiking out, Michael found these little thimbleberries.
Pretty tart.
Tiny little guys.
Pretty good. The plants look like that. They're little maple leaf looking bushes, and pretty good.
Yeah, actually it wasn't that tart. It was actually pretty sweet.
There you go.
And then Julie also gave us a little like backstory to the pasty.
So they were brought in by the Finnish. When the miners came over, they brought the pasties with them, and the dough on the outside specifically to keep their hands off of the inside of the food. So they don't have to wash their hands. They just eat the insides out and throw the dough out.
Once we got to the parking lot, we even got a little like Upper joke, or is it a I don't know what it was, but it was a joke out of Michael's mom.
So Ano and Toivo, they're out hunting in the woods. All of a sudden, Ano says to Toiv, I gotta go to the bathroom. He said, well, just pick a tree. He said, no, Toiv, I gotta go number 2. He said, what am I gonna use to wipe with? He said, just use $1. So Ano goes out, he comes back, he's got shit up to here and shit up to here. Toiv said, Ano, what'd you do? He said, do you ever try to wipe your ass with 3 quarters, 2 dimes, and a nickel?
I use leaves.
So the plan for that night was to go and, man, is it blown out in the background. So the plan for that night was to go fishing with Joe's dad on his boat, but I guess while we were on our little hike to Rum Runner's Cove, there was a big car accident on the main road.
Can we go around? It's gone. 2 hours with the sign up there? Let's turn around.
Instead of us going and taking the long way around to get back home, we decided to go eat at this place. I think it was called Thunder Bay Inn Diner, I'm pretty sure. That's where they had filmed the movie Anatomy of a Murder.
This movie was a big deal. Won 4 Academy Awards.
By that time, it was already like 7 or 8. We had like an hour-and-a-half drive to get back. And so the whole fishing thing wasn't looking possible, but Turner and I just decided we'd go night fishing. Turner and I are going night fishing. Let's see if he's... Archer? Hey! Hey, bud! But yeah, we got our stuff all ready, and we went out to the water, and I think it was the first time Archer's seen water. I don't think he had actually like ventured to the backyard that whole day, because when he looked at it, he was like, what is this? But Turner and I went fishing, and we had to take the paddle boat again. We were fishing night crawlers with little jig heads. Sorry, dude. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for this one.
We're on a stealth mission. They won't see us coming. Go further, go deeper, catch a big fish.
By the end of it, we were pretty slap happy. So we're about to call it quits. Turner got really excited because he thought he got a little action. All we really got, he got my line. Right when I said, all right, we're done, Turner whiffed one and got it lodged in the trees. Okay, we're heading back. Made it back. Fishless. 2 less lures. $10 fishing license. We didn't even catch anything. We wouldn't even gotten in trouble. What are you guys doing out here? Just floating. But good thing we brought 5 poles. And that was it. We called it a night. That was the trip. So that's it. Ready, Rock? Ready, Arch? That's it. That was my trip to the Upper Peninsula. Thank you for watching. Until next time. I need to quit saying that. Rock, you want to say something? You know, real fishermen, they can bite off their tags, but I don't got real teeth in the front, so I can't.
Got my veneers.
Got my caps. Couldn't even afford the veneers. The lady's like, you should get braces. And I was like, I don't want to look like a scrub going into my first year of college. And she's like, both my kids just started college and they have braces on. And I was like, well, I mean, some people can pull it off.